Had to get on here. I was out trying to get my bike ride in for the day here in Ohio, and it's fall. It's been raining for like two or three. This might be the third straight day of raining, and I can't get out on my bike. So I got some time. I'm gonna come in and for the 4 or 5 people that find this video, I'm gonna piss a few people off. What's new? If you're fans of any of this stuff, if you're diehard fans, unconditional fans of any of the topics that I'm getting ready to talk about, or if you're a younger person, you can say I'm an old guy, I'm an old head, I'm old, whatever. Uh, I'm probably gonna say some things that you disagree with. And um, the topics are this new Ransom album with this joint project with Ransom and Rome Streets, Coup de Gras. They've been very heavily pushing it out there as album of the year. I disagree. With no hate though. With no hate whatsoever. I just disagree. But we'll get into that. I also saw Claressa Shields. She's had a couple of days now to sit with her first defeat as a combat sports fighter. Her first loss in the MMA world in her second fight. I saw her IG post, kind of her follow up thoughts on it. I disagree, and I disagree with a lot of her fans. She had like 200, 300 replies on the post on Instagram, and you know the sycophants out there in the world just it's just disheartening. But we'll talk about that. The season one, the season five, the fifth and final season of Insecure for Issa Rae. Um, the premiere was this past Sunday. I got an unpopular opinion on it as well. And then also, I don't really know if I have an opinion on this, but I thought it was good because of where we are. I thought this was going to become a topic with the Atlanta Braves being in the World Series and seeing the crowd in Atlanta break out into the chop rally call or whatever you want to call it. Doing the chop thing. I think they do it at Florida State as well. And I just knew, based on where we are right now, coming on in the wake of the closer and Chappelle against the LGBTQIA community and everything, I just knew, I knew when I was sitting here and the chant started, I knew that it was going to, that was going to be the next thing that we go and attack and say what's no longer acceptable or what's discriminatory or hate based or whatever. So we'll get into it. Coup de Gras, Coup de Gras with Ransom and Rome Streets. I had a lot of anticipation for this project because I'm a huge Ransom fan. One of my, I don't know if anybody out there is working harder or making better music than Ransom. So I wanted to check it out. And I also thought it was an excellent vehicle for Rome Streets to kind of continue to do his thing. I did a review on It's Always Personal, my podcast, of Rome Streets' most recent project, Razor's Edge or something, all produced by Future Wave. I believe he's a cat out of Canada, maybe. And I thought it would be a excellent opportunity for Rome Streets to, to continue to grow and rise up the charts as one of the younger cats, the younger solo artists in hip hop, especially in that East Coast renaissance or rebuild that they're really having right now, or reemergence. So I was excited to see what would happen. And Ransom has been red hot with his album making lately, whether it's an EP or an LP. The dude has been on fire. And, they were throwing it out there from the beginning that this would be album of the year. They had the hashtag AOTY, or just AOTY was in all of the Instagram posts about it. The album is finally here. I believe it's 11 tracks on there, or 11 songs. really 10 because one of them is a interlude, but it's not really a song. So I'm just gonna say, that's my unpopular opinion on it. It's not album of the year. It's a very decent album. But I just think, with the exception of the lead off track, No Remorse, the track featuring Shay Noir, Claudine is phenomenal. Claudine, I probably played it maybe 5 or 6 straight times checking that one out. But Claudine is kind of the highlight of the album, in my opinion. Rooftop Sermons is pretty decent. By the way, Claudine was produced by V Don. He's got another project, a short EP out there with Willie the Kid that's pretty dope right now. You can check that out. No Remorse was produced by Streezy. They got a video to No Remorse. Pray for the Weak is another strong song on there. That one features The Game. And then the last 4 songs, the last 4 tracks on the album, I just thought they were all mid, pretty much. You might have a favorite. You might say they're hot or they're fire or whatever. They're decent, and the lyrical displays throughout are high level. But nothing on this project really outdoes Rand's his last album, not the Hunger for More. Heavy is the Head, or Heavy Weighs the Crown, or whatever it was called. Nothing on here outdoes that, which was all entirely produced by Big Ghost Ltd. So when I have that project to look towards, or to look to as a reference point, and then go to this, it's a very easy call for me that this is not album of the year. It's very good. It's a lot of skills on there. I enjoyed it, but it just didn't come together to exceed everything that's been done this year. Now, silver lining, Ransom, however you want to chop it up, has to be in the discussion for record of the year. Because if we go to Kill All the Rats from Conway's Big Ghost Ltd project earlier in the year, If It Bleeds, it can be killed, which also featured Rome Streets. If you look at this Claudine joint, Ransom is probably going to be in play maybe 2 or 3 times for record of the year, in my opinion. If Pay Me No Mind was doing a record of the year. To me, the first one, my song of the year probably would still be Kill All the Rats, to be honest with you. I don't think nothing has exceeded this year for me. Not for my money. So this is good business for the 2 gentlemen, for Rand and Rome Streets. They also had the Bandoleros cut on there, produced by Nicholas Raven. It featured Ransom's artist Lou from Paradise, another cat named Tyrant. If you want to say that's another banger off of the album, I wouldn't argue against that. But again, it's just a good project. And that's where I'm talking about. This is unpopular. We just in this day and age where people just run out on the social media and just everything is the greatest, which I'm getting ready to get into with Insecure. Everything is classic. Everything is the greatest of all time. Everything is history making. We just a society full of hyperbole at the moment. Speaking of hyperbole, Claressa Shields. Let me mark this down, 852. So Claressa Shields has had a couple of days now to kind of sit with her, with being defeated for the first time as a professional fighter. Yes, it is over in the world of MMA, where this was just her second fight. She's just been dabbling in the discipline or mixed martial arts for, not even 2 years, maybe not even a year, not even a year and 3/4, not consistently either. So this fight for her, in my opinion, there was really no real loss for her if you look at it for what it is. It was an entertaining fight. It seemed like a real fight. Her opponent, Abigail Montez, who won a split decision, she won 2 rounds to 1, 29-28 on 2 scorecards. Claressa Shields won 29-28 on 1 scorecard. Claressa came out and put out her post-fight Instagram post, and the caption says something about all the respect in the world to Abigail Montez. But now she's had a chance to look at the fight, and she feels like she very easily could have had her. She could have very easily heard her name called instead of Abigail Montez. And she's entitled to her own opinion, but I think if you look at the fight and you look at how, if you look at how, if you look at how mixed martial arts rounds are scored and the scoring of mixed martial arts, unfortunately, the judge, or fortunately the integrity of the game and the integrity of MMA and the PFL, fortunately for them and the integrity of competition, the right fighter won. She just did. But you got hundreds of people in the all sycophants, all 100% Shields fans, saying that without question she won the fight just because she had a large a large lead in the number of strikes that she connected with, punches. And that's just not, if you want to be judged solely on striking, get into the boxing ring. That's where a lot of fighters are going to run. A lot of boxers are going. That's why nobody else is doing it, because they don't want to give up their greatest strength to go over there and be a fraction of themselves trying to win a fight. But this brings me to how dominant Randy Couture had to have been in the way that he dismantled multi-division boxing champion James Toney when they fought. And Randy Couture did it totally different. Totally different. Ooh, another turnover for Michigan. He did it totally different from Abigail Montez in taking on a boxer. He got caught by James Toney early in the round, early in the fight, and he was gonna stand up with Toney for a minute. Toney clipped him, or Couture realized immediately, I have no chance allowing this man to be on his feet. And even with James Toney's excellent timing and excellent boxing ability, Randy Couture was able to get him onto the ground in less than a minute. And 10 or 15, 20 seconds later, he submitted James Toney and got it over with. I think when I was looking at the comments and the replies on Claressa Shields' post, how you can give her so much credit for her strategy and her performance, but not understand that Abigail Montez executed her game plan equally as well, equally as beautifully, or as beautiful. The thing I don't get is to sit here, and this is when I quit dealing with the public, to sit here and say that Abigail Montez was afraid of Claressa Shields, or she was fearful of Claressa Shields. She signed the contract to fight Claressa Shields. And she got in the cage with her. And the way that she executed her game plan, how could she have had any fear in her of Claressa Shields? She had great respect for Claressa Shields' striking ability. She took at least 3 clean punches flush on the chin, maybe even as many as 5 or 6. She had nowhere near as many strikes as Claressa Shields. So she adjusted. She made some adjustments to give herself a chance to compete and a chance to still win the fight instead of getting blown out. How do you not give Abigail Montez the credit for when it really looked like the momentum was fully in Claressa Shields' favor, and Claressa starts to walk her down? She's getting confident. I really wouldn't even say it was cocky. They're fighting. They're going to war. It's a battle. Claressa Shields gets caught up in the moment and the success. I'm not even clowning her right now. I like to see this. But she got careless. She got away from fighting with any kind of cautious with any kind of caution in mind. And salute to Abigail Montez for seeing what the opening was, for seeing the opening and then executing it. And that was the first time she let her come to her. She was backing away from her. She let her come to her. And then as soon as Claressa Shields went to throw a punch, she shot, got into her body, dropped her in the middle of the cage or the octagon instead of over by the over against the near the gate, the walls in there, where Claressa Shields had been able to play some defense and had been able to stave off most of the big moves that Montez would have wanted to do. But you get her in the middle of the ring where she can't use leverage and she, that was the worst place possible for Claressa Shields to be, was in the middle of the ring. She's not near the coaches. The coaches could yell at her more easily up against the cage. It was the worst situation possible. So then, Montez tried a couple of things, to go for a couple of things. Those weren't successful. So then, as she started hearing when the clock, when the ring, when the round was winding down, then she went all out, got the full mount or whatever you call it, and started raining down, the punches and the shots to the head and whatnot. But again, how could you possibly say, without a doubt, that Claressa Shields won the fight? I mean, the way that you judge the scoring for MMA is credit for takedowns. It's credit given for takedowns. It's credit for being in the mount or whatever, or having control of the other person. It's not about striking alone. So what are you talking about? So that's just my problem, how to not give credit where credit is due. I'm not even sitting here talking about Claressa Shields only knows how to survive. I'm not taking anything away from her performance. I did see some improvement, not great improvement, but good improvement. And you got to think, this was only Montez's third fight. It's not like she was a seasoned veteran in MMA. So to sit here and disregard or discredit her performance and her big moment, it really just indicates to me who not to really even whose opinion to ignore and who not to even engage with in discussing the outcome of fights. And to sit here and say that Claressa Shields is a humble champion and is great, then why go, just like Deontay Wilder in some respects, but why go throw in there anything about you should have won the fight? Of course, I would expect any champion and any fighter to always think that, but you just didn't get it done. So when you go to actually put your messaging out there, I just don't know why you had to throw anything in there whatsoever. Just say that, talk about your progress that you made. I don't know, man. Insecure. Where we at? 1850. Insecure, episode 1, Reunited. Okay. For a season premiere, strictly looking at this as a season premiere, and what a premiere is supposed to do to create, great anticipation and buzz for the rest of the 9 episodes, and to announce, to basically create that buzz and maintain the momentum of the show. I just thought the episode was pretty meh. It just was. And I don't really talk about Insecure a whole lot. It's another one of those things. As a man, being over 40 years old, my opinion is really gonna be unpopular. Anything that I would say, would be instantly, you hating. You don't know what you're talking about. Shut the F up, yada, yada, yada. But the episode was just mid. One of my problems with the episode, with the show in general, the writing the whole way, and this might be a budgetary issue. Why does the show only talk about one person at a time? Um, you know, why is it so hard to like have some cuts to what's going on with other characters in the show in other areas of the show? When Nathan ran into his situation, Nathan was just when he left, he was just gone. We didn't know nothing about him, what was going on. How hard would it have just been to show a couple 10 seconds here, 15 seconds here with him being back in Houston? And like I said, maybe they can't pay an actor or one of the cast members. Maybe it's an issue with paying them to be on X amount of shows, whatever the quote is for, or whatever, contractually. I don't know. But in this episode where you left us, the relation, the rift between Molly, which we got an answer to that, but what we were all talking about was what would go on with the relationship between Lawrence and Issa, being with the fact that Condola was over here, pregnant. I get the episode. I got that Issa had some time and going to Stanford. She reflected on where she is in her life. She had the thoughtful heartfelt conversation with Molly, and you could see that this was gonna have her asking questions about, where do I want to be 3 years from now? Where do I want to be 5 years from now? Where do I want to be in 10 years? And she, wants to be 100% happy. So you kind of knew where things were going. But if the show was, I thought it was 32 minutes in run length. Maybe it was just 30. But at no point in time could we have gone back to, could we have cut away to Lawrence and saw what the hell was going on with him, what he was doing? Maybe he could have been getting some update from Condola on the baby or something. But we just spend the whole time with the ladies, and then Derek, I believe, is Amanda Seals' husband's name or whatever. And then, I thought the way that they handled the reunion between Molly, they showed that once a relationship is fractured like that, the blow up that they had, an apology and moving forward just doesn't always work to get it back to 100%. And Molly asked Kelly about how is it back. They used the robbery thing as a tool or an instrument to break the break the ice there or whatever. I get it. But to just come back with to cut back with Lawrence and Issa as this drive home from the airport, and I thought about it, and then he just says, I know. And then you just walk away. All the time that they spent on the reunion last year and the walk through the art thing and the outdoor art gallery or art exhibit that they went through, them exploring their relationship, the honesty that they had and talking about that, that they didn't really fight for their relationship. Like all of that shit was just a waste of time now. To just sum it up with, I was thinking, or I had time to think. I thought that was pretty lame. Moving on, so I get on off here. The other thing that I saw was in looking at the reply and the reactions to Insecure, to see fans of the show calling the show a classic and putting it up there with all-time programs, series, and whatnot. Again, hyperbole, sycophants. And I get it. This show is groundbreaking to a certain demographic. it's great to see this many black people or this many people of color, whatever you, and all the things that they've approached. Los Angelinos, the all the aesthetics to the show, all all the artist music that they feature, all the scene, the different the cinematography to capture Los Angeles. I get all of that, but one thing was somebody said this show is going to be regarded with the greats like Sopranos. How do you put a 30-minute sitcom with an hour-long drama? Like we don't even give any consideration to genres. So I don't know the show, but the show is not for me. Like I just said, with not being able to tell multiple storylines at the same time, and to keep everybody, because all of us are watching the show for different things. And it's some things that the ladies are doing that I don't always get into or don't understand or don't care about. So that's why I say I really don't even put this show. It's something I watch with my wife, to be honest. But I have enjoyed a lot of different moments in the show. And I think the way that they've handled some different things. And I was looking forward to how they would handle this reunion. I mean, Lawrence and Issa getting together and how they would go about dealing with this baby that's on the way. Now, we do see that Lawrence is going to be in other episodes and maybe they're going to be in each other's presence again. And I saw something about a wedding at the end and so on. But you can only go to the well so many times for me. And the way that they handled this right here would kind of turn me off and my interest off on whatever they do. I really don't care at this point. Let me get on out of here with this last topic. The chop in the World Series. With it being the World Series and all the eyes, even though it's Major League Baseball, and we know it's not as it doesn't have a viewership, the viewership numbers, the cachet, of the Super Bowl, in some years the NBA Finals. We know baseball is a sport that struggles to fit in with the short attention spans of fans today. It's a sport where the defense initiates each play with the ball. We know about, batters stepping out to reset their gloves and everything. The pitcher is on a pitch clock. It's a slow moving game. Games can take 4 hours. All the bullpen changes. We get all of this. Instant replay isn't used properly. Baseball has tons of problems. We get it. But this chop that they do, this chant that they do in Atlanta, I hadn't heard it in a while, to be honest with you. I haven't seen that many Atlanta Braves games, but I knew I was down here doing something in my little room, and I had the game on, and I heard the chant, and immediately I was like, oh shit, Dave Chappelle, the alphabet community, all the wokeism talk. Damn, Michigan State just scored. I knew it was gonna be a thing, and so over on the Undefeated, I made up my mind a few weeks ago that I would go to the Undefeated, the kind of the black featured page, the black content page or sub featured page over at ESPN.com. And I said, man, I'm gonna make sure every other day or so, I'm gonna read an article over here and support these journalists of color. They also have a YouTube channel. I'm gonna support them. I've checked out a lot of Outkick.com articles, and I was giving reactions to some of their coverage of sports and entertainment, politics, whatever they do. And I said, I'm gonna spend less time over there in Minneapolis, Mark. A flagrant racist, blatant racist that comments over there. I'm not even really going to acknowledge that dude. I'm going to go over here on Undefeated and give them some clicks and spend some time over there. And maybe even mention, their articles and their content on my social media stuff that 3 or 4 people watch or respond to. But I go over there, yes, and Clinton Yates, who's one of the panelists. Did he drop the ball before? Nah, he broke the plane. Clinton Yates, one of the panelists on some of the debate shows on ESPN, he had an article up reacting to the chop and saying that it's something that needs to be done away with. Clinton Yates is also from the I believe if he's not from the DC area, he's from the DMV area. He was also pretty vocal about the Redskin nickname and how he was at the forefront of that for a number of years, and was a proponent of the nickname being changed and so on and so forth. I know now they're saying like no more Native American or indigenous people headwear or nothing associated with that community is allowed in FedEx Stadium at this point. I don't know if they've done the same thing with the jerseys. No Redskins jerseys. I don't know. I have a Redskin jersey myself. I don't know what to do with it in a way. But here we are with this chop. I say all this to say, wasted all that time to say, I don't know, with the pushback that I've seen online with people being adamant about continued use of Redskins of that name when referring to the Washington football team or the football team in Washington. I could only imagine that the people that want to do the chop are more. There's more fervor. There's more of a push to use the chop chant whenever available or whenever possible, just because. And I just don't know. They had some comments earlier on the cross. They featured some video of Rob Manfredi, the commissioner of baseball, speaking on it and trying to, talk about how his comments were so out of touch with all the diversity and inclusion that's going on right now and being politically correct. And I don't know I think it's Rob Manfred, not Manfredi. Of course, going back to Bill Burr, no white person can say anything correct about anything involving these social issues right now. I don't necessarily know if I agree with what he said. And maybe he was a little ill prepared in really addressing the subject. I don't know. But like I said, you're going to have a hard time telling 28,000 people not to do this chant. And to go any further with it, all you're going to do is incite and cause more people, whenever they got a chance to break out into this chant, that's what's going to happen. I don't know how like I said, Florida State, I don't know if it's 85, 90,000 fans that are at the Seminoles home games. But that's just what's going to happen. I don't think there's any way to get rid of this. And the more that you publicize this and the more that the people on the left and the politically correct people and those who want to keep others in check and want these issues to be corrected and for there to be an updated understanding on it, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Any further discussion on it is just going to be adding fuel to the fire or to the flames. That's just the way it's going to be. Anyway, man, let me get back to the rest of this game. It's 10-7 at the start of the second quarter. Michigan State just scored. They thought he fumbled the ball before crossing the goal line, but he didn't. I might go up here and see if this road is a little dry so I can get out, Try to at least get me 10 to 12 miles in on the bike. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Got a great, oh, damn, we got a great women's boxing match coming up at 2 o'clock. If you have the DAZN app with WBC 140-pound champion Chantel Cameron against 140-pound IBF champion Mary McGee out of Gary, Indiana, Hammond, Indiana. That's going to be in the main event on that on that stream or broadcast, however you want to look at it. So that's out there tonight. You got boxing on ESPN or ESPN Plus with Zepeda and some 140-pound men. Zepeda and Josue Vargas in the main event over there. Excuse me. And then on Showtime, you got a triple header. Another 140-pound hopeful in Michelle Rivera. I can't remember the name of his opponent, but Rivera is the guy that, they want to see if he can take a step forward. And then in the co-main is this phenom out of Philadelphia named Jaron Ennis, maybe the future of the 147-pound division if he can ever get his chance. He's taking on veteran Thomas Delorme, who's been in there with he's been the B-side against a number of big names in boxing at 140 and 147. And then in the main event is Minneapolis's or the Twin Cities, Jamal James against Radza Butayev. So that's going to be good action over on Showtime, good action on ESPN Plus. And then here, hell, in an hour and a half, in about an hour and a half, they get started on DAZN. So let me get on out of here, man. Little bit of unpopular takes. I don't think I'm old guy, stay off my lawn or stay off my grass. I'm just able to consider a lot of angles on one particular thing and pay respect and give out credit where credit is due versus only liking and acknowledging who I like and acknowledge. I don't get that. Anyway, enjoy that Coup de Gras album. I'm going to take it to the lab a couple more times. I was actually going to listen to it if I got out here on my bike. I was going to get back, into it a little bit more in depth on it. But let me get out of here, man. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. Peace.